Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're back. We're here to do, what is this? 2 hours of Takeover, 4 hours of Summerslam, 2 hours of pre-show. So, 10 hours of wrestling?
Yeah, pretty much.
Condensed into one podcast for your enjoyment?
This will only be 19 hours of podcast. Don't worry. I know you've had enough wrestling.
Although, in fairness, you know what? The wrestling actually was pretty good, so it didn't feel that bad.
Yeah, it definitely looked like waves rolling up the beach. There was some real high points and some real low points in the middle, and then some more high points. So that's good.
Indeed, pretty happy overall. There's only one match that I absolutely hated. So that's
which one was that?
The Randy Orton Rusev match.
What? You're in luck because that wasn't a match. So.
All right, let's start off with NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3.
See.
We were going to have a special guest on this podcast, but we'll have to rethink that and maybe work it in at a future date.
Shout out to Joey. So, just as a background notice, my friend Joey, who we've mentioned before, came over and we watched SummerSlam here, or part of it together, and part of it I watched with Mio, and part of it Mio slept through. And yeah, so Joey was going to be the third man on the podcast, but we couldn't figure out how to hook up headphones, and I think he was busy anyway. So perhaps for the next pay-per-view, we will try this again and see how it works, or maybe for Survivor Series or something. Who knows?
In my defense, I'm exceptionally hungover. I got really drunk at a friend's birthday party.
Nice. And
did not sleep well the night before. I did not sleep the night of. So I'm exhausted right now.
Well, I've been drinking since Tuesday. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, probably. Yeah, but I went a little too ham on the. Well, it's not Slievitz because it's not made with plums, but it's made with apricots, and it's actually more alcoholic than Slievitz.
Nice.
And I think we got up to about 17 shots of that, and I was done. I don't
do shots, man.
There was some projectile vomit involved.
You don't do shots. You pace yourself. Grab the bottle, take the cap off, and pace yourself at your own pace.
Well, we know I don't pace myself.
Well, maybe you, sir, could learn a thing or two about young Randall Orton on how to get something.
My host was both angry and impressed because I apparently went into the bathroom and it was everywhere. I got the wall, behind the toilet, the floor, the toilet, the top of the toilet. The all three shower curtains somehow, don't really know how that worked, and the top and side of the tub.
I haven't done that since my mid-20s.
It was impressive.
I'm impressed.
Apparently, I had some hamburgers in there. I don't remember eating them,
but they came back out.
They definitely did. I weighed myself this morning and I had dropped 7 pounds.
Well played. New diet plan.
New
Go
diet
ham
plan.
on the beverage.
Well, also the fact that we were doing a lot of swimming in the pool probably helped out. So yeah, it was a good workout.
You know what else helps? When Johnny Gargano shows up and wrestles.
That's true. Let's get into the wrestling. We got Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almos. I really, really enjoyed this match when it was well paced. There was a bit where they got really slow, and I don't think that really plays to either man's strengths.
No, not really.
So I would probably, if we do another match, which I think we will, because the ending here was a bit of a screwy one. I would keep the pace up for the entirety of the match, or do some rest spots as needed. But there was a 3 to 4 minute period where they kind of ground the action down to a halt, and that can work if you're good at it, but neither of these guys really are.
Correct.
Also, liked Gargano's use of the slingshot spear. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Slingshot DDT is nothing new, but...
Yeah, I've seen the slingshot between the ropes spear, but not... that was the one, right? It was over the middle rope?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some guys do that, but it's not too common. A lot of more of the luchador type people, that's what they tend to employ.
Also, just going to shout out, this was like a night of sunset bombs for me. In this match, it was Andrade Cien almost having one of the best sunset bomb escapes I think I've ever seen. involving like a moonsault to escape it. That was pretty freaking cool.
I enjoyed it a great deal. Yeah, the chain wrestling in this was really good. The different they just were really great in storytelling throughout the whole match, to the point where Mrs. Ares threw a DIY shirt in at Johnny Gargano, and he got all distractified, and then there was a roll up, or I can't remember what the exactly finish was.
It was almost as hammerlock DDT.
Oh yeah, that's almost as involved as anything Drago does.
It's not quite as bad as Drago, but the Mexicans do love their overly complicated finishing moves.
Let's say, not a DDT, hammerlock DDT. Well, it's not just that either, because it's almost a Russian leg sweep hammerlock DDT. It's just he's bad at hooking the leg.
Yeah. Minor botch on the buckle bomb spot, because they did this one-arm buckle bomb spot where it almost hit the buckle bomb with one arm. But in doing so, like, he had been caught in a submission hold. Triangle choke, I believe, or was it an arm bar? But,
I believe it was a triangle choke.
But he escapes, and if you know jiu-jitsu, you knew he was safe. He was out of the hold. And to do the spot, he goes back into the hold, and I think that's kind of one of those things where, like, I know it's a planned spot and all, but adjust to do a double, like, do a buckle bomb still, but do it like a double arm buckle bomb, like standard buckle bomb instead, because to do that, you don't have to go back into danger.
True. While I was watching it, it looked like he was in the triangle, he rolled through, got out of the triangle, and then it looked like he was going to roll him up for a pin. So while I was watching it, it looked like that's what he was going for. And then about a second later, I'm like, why would you do... Oh, I see. They were supposed to do a thing. So in the moment, it looked like it was part of a chain, and then, the MMA brain kicks in and goes, that's the wrong way to do that.
Yep. And if you're not into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to the level that we are, maybe you didn't notice. So, I mean, very minor botch in that regard. But still, I'm here to pick flaws in a match where they are.
That shit don't fly in EBI, baby.
Yeah. Also, I enjoyed the fact that after doing the slingshot spear, the second time Gargano went for it, almost just countered the thing and hit him with a DDT.
Yeah. Didn't he go for a third one to make it, though? Or did he? I can't remember.
I don't believe he did a third one, but it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I seem to remember that he went for a third something or other and it came through, but I don't remember what it was. But, like, the whole match was really good. I don't care for fuck finishes myself unless they're ultimate swerves, and this one was just... It wasn't ultimate enough for me. I can see I can see the psychology behind it, but this also feeds into my worry that they're going to have Gargano in like 9 different feuds, because they're doing this thing, but they're also making a big deal of him not being, just putting DIY behind him. None of that's going to happen. Oh, we're over that now. But you know that they're going to do a feud with him and Gargano. They have to. So,
Ciampa, you mean?
Yeah, Ciampa, sorry. So... Like, is this going to be a nothing feud for a couple of weeks, and then he's going to go into the Ciampa, and then he's going to be involved with something else, and then...
Well, it's also particularly kind of worse, because they kind of dropped the Almost versus No Way Jose feud, because we were talking about that when we were watching the match, and No Way Jose, he had that whole thing where Selena Vega kind of threatens him in the parking lot and stuff, that, this is not over, whatever, and then it was over, like, just very suddenly. So
he better stay at a Reseda.
He does need to stay at a Reseda. Rick Knox can't protect him forever. But so yeah, a little bit mixed on the ending, but not bad. And we didn't get a lot of fuck finishes on the card, so pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Then we had Authors of Pain versus Sanity, and this was pretty good. I'm gonna let you take it away and get us kicked out.
Well, they had a new ring gear for Authors of Pain. They're doing a country western thing, and Akem's now doing the Akem Break 'em Heart. No, I'm just kidding. Mostly. Actually, Authors of Pain did.
This is Byron's fantasy booking.
It is. This is like 5-10 years down the road when the Authors of Pain have broken up, and then Rizar's gone on to be like a preacher gimmick, and Akem's gone country and western with the Akem Break 'em Heart. But Authors of Pain did come down with some new ring gear, and it was looking very reptilian militant. All hail our reptilian overlords. And the best spot, I think the best spot of the night was when Alexander Wolf had been in the ring and razzling around, and he goes to tag, they taking a beating, and he goes to tag out, and he goes to tag Killian Dane, his tag team partner, only it's actually Eric Young. Eric Young gets up on the apron and tells Killian Dane to get down, and tags in, and it's a giant swerve. And by the way, now you're up against Eric Wolf and Alexander Young, but neither of those things are correct. And it was great. I enjoyed that tremendously, and so did the dogs in the backyard. And I believe the second greatest spot of the night was probably Alexander Wolf just mowing everybody down with pump cakes and big boots.
That was pretty freaking awesome.
It was pretty hot.
Also, him doing a German suplex, pretty hot.
The German he was doing that for a couple of weeks in a row now. The German doing German suplexes and doing them as well he should. At one point, Nikki Cross gets in the ring and Ellering gets in the ring, and there's going to be a schmozzle, only that doesn't happen. And then Nikki Cross gets involved with, I believe it was Rosar, but it probably was Akam Breakum Hart. It was one of them.
For two guys who are like different ethnicities and not related, they look freaking similar. Holy crap.
Yeah, one of the authors of Pain she went to crossbody him and got caught, and then he was going to do something horrible when Killian Dane showed up, and it was like a double crossbody, both of them through a table, and I couldn't tell if Nikki Cross took the worst of that being between them, or she was totally protected. I have no idea.
I think she was actually, ironically, reasonably protected.
Fair enough.
Although that did violate the rules of wrestling because Eric Young set up the table and then had nothing to do with its use.
It's like the laws of physics. So that was pretty entertaining. And I don't remember exactly what the finish was. It was some sort of powerbomb backstabber scenario, or was that a different match?
No. So basically, I guess the two spots I'm going to talk about that you did not. There was a lovely miscue where the authors of Pain were going for superplex, powerbomb, a assisted superplex, and Nikki Cross saved, I believe, EY from it, and the one author powerbombed the other author of Pain.
That was well done and well sold. The guy legitimately just boom, and then oh no,
oh no, I've done something terrible.
What have I done?
And then the ending was Alexander Wolf picks up one of the authors of Pain, and EY hits like a diving elbow. Oh, yeah. It's their standard finisher, and that gets the 3 count. New champions. Authors of Pain still look exceedingly strong because it took basically 4 people to beat them.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get the belts off them without them losing any credibility. That's fantastic work.
Indeed. So they should show up on SmackDown just in time to be told to sit at home for 8 months.
Also, just gonna say this match really made me a fan of Alexander Wolf. He's I've been kind of mixed on the guy. He's got this great personality, mixes in German, which is kind of intriguing, and he's the one guy that absolutely, well, Nikki Cross as well. They feel absolutely born to play the role of Sanity.
Yes.
But prior to this match, I've been kind of very lackluster on his in-ring work. Like, I like the German suplex. I like things about it, but overall the package just wasn't really there. This match, it was there. He delivered. Like, he's not, 10 best workers in the company or anything like that, but he's proved to me that he is actually a very above average worker, great at playing the gimmick. I'm officially an Alexander Wolf fan. Like, this match did that for me.
I've been really getting more and more high on him the last, 4 or 5 weeks because it's been a while since Eric Young was back until the last episode of NXT last week. No idea where he was. They didn't say anything.
I think he had, I think the deal was he had some minor surgery to take care of.
Okay, so, but they didn't say anything. They didn't even allude to it on TV. They're just kind of like, well, Eric Young's not around.
Well, I mean, because it's Sanity and they're crazy, but
It sort of devolved to Alexander Wolf to be the mouthpiece, which was interesting because he's never really done that before. But I really liked his style, his promos. I like the fact that he legitimately, this is his second language and he's not speaking it 100% fluently. I'd say 98% fluently. But he has weird syntax and diction.
Yeah, he's kind of using. Well, I mean, this is pretty standard, of course. If you've been to Europe, you learn English, etc. He's using the correct words, but his grammar and syntax is still kind of German.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's
very
what
much
gives
so.
it the weirdness.
He's definitely throwing the horse over the fence some hay. And I enjoy that about him. And he's been kind of really held back in the ring, in my opinion. They've only ever given him, okay, here's your spot, you do your spot thing, okay, you're done. Sort of a deal. But yeah, they've really given him a lot of leeway in the last 4 or 5 weeks, so he's been definitely improving. Imagine that, you give somebody some time to do things. And then, your boys, Redragon.
My boy.
NXT is dragoning once again. And so, Red Dragon came down and kicked the fuck out of everybody. And that's not hyperbole. Literally, they kicked and everybody. I think didn't they even kick Nikki Cross?
They did. Yeah.
Yeah. They hit him. They hit Eric Young with their finisher, which is heroin. I think. Yeah, it's called Chasing the Dragon. That's heroin right there.
Yeah. I mean, that'll do nothing to Eric Young because God knows the heroin.
Yeah.
That pumps through his veins.
Right in the fucking kidney too. So that was awesome, and I marked out, and you marked out, and there was much marking out.
Indeed. And then we ended up just fantasy booking Adam Cole bits for the remainder of the evening.
Pretty much. And I think by this point I'd called Percy Watson Percy Jackson for the 95th time.
Yeah, pretty much. Byron cannot tell black people apart.
Yeah,
which is weird because he's confusing him with a white guy.
Is he white?
Percy Jackson, the character, is actually white.
Huh. Isn't that odd?
And Percy Watson is black.
Or is that just you imposing racist rules on things, sir?
No. There's a movie, and it's a white guy that plays him, everything.
Racism? Obviously Donald Glover should have been in that role.
Maybe.
Possibly. So after...
He's supposed to be the half-son of Poseidon, so, I mean, that wouldn't really make a lot of sense for him to be black.
Are you saying that African people don't know about the ocean?
Not the Greek part of the ocean.
Racism. Anyway, after Redragon has dragoned again and kicked the shit out of everybody, then we had the match where they kicked the shit out of each other.
Oh, just one more thing on the last match. No! Alexander Wolf sells hot tags better than anyone I've ever seen. He is so worked up to get that hot tag.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Dean Ambrose later on in the SummerSlam card is the only thing I've seen close in recent memory.
Correct.
So yeah, we had Hideo Itami and Aleister Black.
And they kicked the fuck out of each other. And it was good. It was real good. And I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Very much enjoyed it. I will say, this match is better if you just let it be Itami versus Black as opposed to the storyline going into this, which is Itami's quest for respect. Give me respect. Because he would break off the action to, play the crowd and stuff, and it slowed the match down a little bit at points, and kind of... Also, he also wasn't really willing to go, as kick for kick, because, he's supposed to be kind of a cowardly heel. So, that played into it a little bit. So, take that away, and this is a better match, and I hope we get that match somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this was fantastic. Stiff fest.
I'm just, I'm real tired of the cowardly heel, and I don't care for that anymore.
I also beautiful Falcon Arrows by Itami. I love Aleister Black's moonsault spots. Although this one he came up a little short. Made contact with the knee as opposed to the body. Mm-hmm. So minor botch, nothing big. And Itami ends up falling to the Black Mass kick, and Aleister Black is your winner. Not as much to talk about, but certainly a great match.
Not really. Yeah, the action was great. The storytelling was great. Itami kept in the whole "I want respect" thing, which was good. If you're tying into the storyline, I can see your gripe about it not really doing anything for the match, and you're not wrong. But
no, I'm perfectly fine with it as a storyline. It works for the storyline. I'm just saying I kind of want to revisit this in the future in a kind of basically Tommy End versus Kenta in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. And I enjoyed the match. It was good. At some point, Tommy End got his nose not broken, but definitely damaged, and he was leaking blood all over, which actually really added to the match. Like the fact that they had to keep cleaning his face of blood, and then the other half of the time he was just covered in blood.
Yep.
It was something you don't get to see in WWE, which is kind of a shame.
It's a little bit of a shame,
But,
yeah. Also like the fact that Aleister Black, a little more personality in this match. Like, he's talking to a Tommy a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's coming alive in the ring. His stoicism is just a little broken, and that points to how good, you know, how much of a challenger Tommy is.
Indeed.
So all good stuff there. And then we had our second title fight match of the night. Asuka versus Ember Moon.
Indeed. This was a very good match, and I enjoyed it tremendously.
I enjoyed it as well. A little bit of a dangerous senton, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Not senton. Dive to the outside from Ember Moon, where her head comes kind of close to the ground. But,
yeah.
Aside from that, very good. Ember Moon is actually very good at kind of turning moves into other moves. Like, Asuka would be going for something, and Ember Moon would use that move to, like, set up her own move. Very interesting, actually. I like that. I enjoyed that.
She seems to incorporate, like, half of one move into another move, which is interesting, and then you're left with going, what was that exactly? So, I mean, it can work for and against her, because you can be totally confused as to how is that supposed to do oh, I see. I get it now. But it's not always readily apparent. Like, she went for, like, a wheelbarrow, almost a spine buster, but she turned it into something else halfway through. So, I mean, it was really cool, but you had to sit there and think about it for a bit. And most of the time, the action's happening so fast that you don't get that chance, and people can really kind of miss what the point in the first place was.
Mm-hmm. There were a lot of receipts in this match. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Right before the slightly poor technique senton that you were talking about was a thunderous kick to Asuka's general face region. And then after the slightly poor technique senton, there was a rather dramatic and impactful suplex delivered by Asuka onto the ring wrap. So there were a couple of spots in this where it's like, that wasn't cool, and I'm going to show you how uncool that was.
Mm-hmm. There's also a really good roll-through false finish after Ember Moon comes off the top rope.
Mm-hmm.
Very nicely done. Also, Asuka, first person to kick out of the Eclipse, I do believe.
I believe that is correct.
And Asuka retains the title. Gets the I don't remember what the finish of the match was now.
Was it the? Wasn't the? Yeah, it was the
Asuka lock. Yeah.
But it was like the third time the first time she didn't quite get it. The second time she had it for a little bit, and then not so much. And then the third time she had it on fully right in the middle of the ring, if I remember correctly.
Also, like the fact that Ember Moon went for the Asuka lock on Asuka. It's like, sell your own move, bitch.
Yep, pretty much.
Which, I mean, as long as you're not doing it to Kevin Nash, you're fine. They will sell their own move. They have to.
Just gotta kick him really hard in the knee first.
Well, it's not selling at that point.
Listen, either we're doing business or you're doing business.
So, Asuka retains the title. And then we go on to the main event. Bobby Roode. Drew McIntyre.
Kangaroo versus Drew
I like for the record, I really liked the 3 live musical performances they had. They had the NXT theme at the beginning. They had Aleister Black's theme played live. And they had bagpipes accompanying the other portions of the music for Drew McIntyre's.
Really, this whole weekend was just a weekend of really good entrances.
Yeah. I'll just say this. The match had an air raid crash, and if you know me, you know I'm down with that. Like, I'm into this immediately.
They apparently in different promotions, he's called up the Celtic Frost, which is a heavy metal band for anybody who doesn't know. But I guess in NXT they have to call it the Celtic Cross for reasons unexplained.
Also, that Fit Finlay did like the same move and called it the Celtic Cross.
Well, I think that he should be fired immediately.
You will not speak ill of Fit Finlay.
Fair enough.
Creative tilt-a-whirl slam on the apron, which was kind of interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen that before.
Indeed.
And continuing our theme of sunset bombs for the weekend. A hell of a sunset bomb by Bobby Roode to Drew McIntyre. It's always really impressive to see the big man eat that.
Yeah, very much so.
And for his size, Drew McIntyre flies really well. Amazingly well. So please, WWE, don't mess this guy up again. One drawback on the match I'm going to throw out is that they did a possum spot where Bobby Roode's playing possum. The spot's perfectly fine. It's just that Asuka did kind of the same spot, like the match before him with Ember Moon. So,
yeah,
kind of revisiting something that was just done. Not good agenting.
No, and if you remind me about that, I'll go into detail about that in the main event of fucking SummerSlam.
Will do.
Yes.
And in the end, Drew McIntyre gets the win with the Claymore after reversing a hat-trick glorious DDT attempt with a headbutt.
Yeah.
So fantastic work there. Drew McIntyre is your new champion. He doesn't get to enjoy it for very long, though.
Because of Adam Cole!
Adam Cole, baby!
Well, actually, dragons once more again, and hits the ring and kicks the shit out of everybody. Adam Cole actually hit the ring first and kicked the shit out of everybody. And,
Cole attacked first, but Red Dragon was out there first.
Yeah,
they were on the apron.
Whatever. Anyway, things happened, and they were good. And so Adam Cole made his debut, not sitting in a fucking chair at ringside, actually doing things like
Indeed.
you do.
This brought an end, of course, to our endless speculation about things we would do with Adam Cole in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
We had like a dueling chance of Glorious versus Baby for a feud with Bobby Roode.
That would be good.
Yeah, Adam Cole. I'm not as high on him as a lot of people are, but I do really enjoy his work, and I look forward to seeing what he can do in NXT. Although, not sure how a match between him and McIntyre is going to work out all that well, actually.
I don't have a clue. I have a feeling they'll just do a fuck finish and have Dragon once again and beat him up.
And then we of course have to figure out how Roddy Strong fits into this, because anyone who has ROH backing should probably be involved in this whole stable in some way or another, either against it or for it.
I have a feeling
we also thought Cassius Ohno would fit in there as well.
I have a feeling they're going to approach Roddy about, hey, join our thing, we're boys, we've been, all that stuff, we're from the same place. They might not be able to say ROH out loud. And then Roddy's like, no, I am the virtuous babyface, I will not join you. And then he gets the shit kicked out of him, and then they kick the shit out of Drew McIntyre, and then Drew McIntyre and Roddy Strong join forces.
I could see that definitely working out pretty well. Also had, of course, ideas for Cassius Ohno as like a counter to this stable. Because, of course, those who do not know, Cassius Ohno was Chris Hero on the Independents. And I was kind of thinking that you need like just like kind of a moody promo from Cassius Ohno, like kind of just sitting down, talking about how this stable's running amok and destroying everything, and how NXT needs a hero.
That could be good.
So that would be good, because I don't really dig the Cassius Ohno name, and the gimmick when Cassius Ohno originally came in was that they were into the KO elbow thing with Cassius Ohno KO. And, of course, then Kevin Owens came along and basically kind of stole the basis for the gimmick, which was the KO name. So they've kind of gone back to something that was already repurposed, and it feels a little flat to me. It's definitely over, so that's a very minor gripe, but it does feel a little, like, just repurposed.
He is that old knockout kid.
Indeed. So then we move on to WWE SummerSlam, and Byron's going to take you through the pre-show, because I've not seen it. Full disclosure.
He was drunk as shit.
What was in the drunkenness? I was just really tired.
Well, let's see. The Miz Taraj, Hardy Boys, Jason Angle thing was pretty much garbage. It was your standard schmozzle, too many people involved, everybody's got to get their finisher in within 19 seconds. Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, oddly enough, highlight of the match, but that's just because they're good at working matches. The Miz hit the ring and barely touched anybody, and everybody had to sell like they'd been nuclear bombed, as per typical. Hardy Boys did standard Hardy Boys stuff, although there was a Brother Nero chant, and Matt was encouraging that like a motherfucker. And at one point, Matt was going to go for the Twist of Fate, but he yelled it really loud beforehand, which I thought was a bit odd. He just, Twist of Fate! And then he went to go do it, and then, of course, got schmozzled for, because reasons.
He's done that before, in fairness.
I just don't remember. I'm sure he has, and maybe I've just ignored it, but I don't remember it. Jason Jordan, oddly enough, barely in the match. Don't remember anything he did in the entire thing. Just made no impact in my brain whatsoever. Then we
just there, basically, I think, to play into the Daniel Bryan promo later on. Yeah,
pretty much. The Neville versus Akira Tozawa. We had the Neville, Evil Knievel go over, flip-flopping the belt within a week, I think. A little bit more than a week. I don't remember.
Yeah, not overly a big fan of that.
So Neville had a week off, and now he's champion again. The match was pretty good. Don't remember any particular spots about it. It was easily the best match of the pre-show, and Titus O'Neil did not interfere, which I thought was a bit. I thought maybe he.
Well, he's kind of a face manager now, so he shouldn't.
He is, yeah, but he's still got that kind of I'm after some money. I'm a bit of a conniver thing going on, so I thought maybe he might want to guarantee a win.
I think you kind of play a bit of a long game with that, like you give Akira some. I don't want to say like losing streak because I don't want it to be a losing streak, but like a period of lesser success, and then like Titus gets a little nervous, starts doing some things to cheat to win, and that maybe leads to the breakup of them.
Yeah.
So I would say that for down the road.
Yeah, I'd like to see them stay together for a while because they looked great with the title coming in. They were all about it, and it was a good time, and everybody was hot for it. So gotta kill that gravy train right away. Can't have that. Can't have people like
again. 2017, and we're like all over Titus O'Neil's nuts. Who the hell saw this coming?
Not me. And then the final match on the pre-show was the Moose Bros versus the New Day, with Kofi Kingston looking like some sort of transgendered Road Warrior-esque thing on the outside. Not really sure what he was going for with that outfit, but it was weird.
I need to see that now.
It was very, it might have been some anime-inspired something, but it looked very much like a transgendered Road Warrior. This was a bad match. This was fucking trash. Literally the only good thing about this was Xavier Woods, and he was sold like a motherfucker. He had some really good moves. They comboed well together with him and Big E. They hit like what was this? I can't remember. It was like a powerbomb lung blower or something, or it wasn't. It was like an Uranagi lung blower. It was good. And the dogs in the backyard agree with me. The Usos were standard Moose Bro, Goose Bro, whatever the fuck. They were just standard there to be in a match, and they got the win, I guess, because reasons. Because, again, can't have people enjoying things in wrestling.
It's kind of weird. When the Usos were like just a filler tag team, they actually put on good matches. So they are definitively capable of it. But during their time as like a title contender, like top team type deal,
they're just standard filler.
Pretty mediocre.
They're standard filler. I don't think that they're capable of anything other than standard filler. And I don't know why and this wasn't exactly where the ridiculously awful hyperbole started, but it was pretty much the worst because I can't even remember who's doing commentary, but whoever it was, probably Graves and Cowboy Bob, fucking what's his nuts, fucking John O'Clock.
Well, JBL usually works with Phillips and Sexton.
Well, I don't know. I honestly don't remember who the hell was on commentary, but apparently the Usos are the greatest tag team of all time.
Oh, they've been doing that repetitively, although they usually limit themselves to the decade.
They are the best, absolutely the best tag team of all time. The problem is that so is the New Day. So they were jerking each other off in a circle until they'd filled a bucket, and I hated it. That might have actually killed the match for me. Maybe if I turned the volume off, maybe the match is actually okay. But it was the most overbooked, overhyped, overhyperbolized bunch of bullshit I'd seen in forever. And unfortunately, it was the second longest match of the entire SummerSlam card.
Also, doesn't it like defeat your own logic that you put the two greatest tag teams of all time on your pre-show?
A little bit, since they're since they're both the greatest tag teams of all time, how can you hope to even have a winner? Obviously, it's just going to be a draw, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, you could, I guess, use the logic. This will determine who's the greatest.
No. They're both the greatest.
I see. But, then
also,
shouldn't they be on the main card? Because you did have a tag team title match on the main card that apparently doesn't feature the greatest tag team of all time.
The problem is that also John Cena's the greatest, and Baron Corbin's the greatest, and that Natalya's the greatest, and Naomi's also the greatest.
Oh yeah, no. There's going to be a rant on the Baron Corbin hyperbole. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming.
But, by the way, Big Cass is also the greatest, and Big Show's the greatest, and Enzo's the greatest, and literally everybody from top to bottom, apparently, according to everybody on commentary, is all the greatest of all time. Period.
Yeah, the hyperbole in this on this card it's always pretty bad, but this card I think particularly bad on that. So that's the drawback of SummerSlam, I think.
There were spots in this tag match that were really good, but only spots. And that's not a match. And I don't know why this thing got almost 19 and a half minutes when I would have given Tozawa and Neville 20 minutes to work. There's no fucking way I would have given them less time than this bullshit. And there's no fucking way that I would have given the six-man tag match any time at all. They should have just cut that from the card.
Alright, so moving on to John Cena versus Baron Corbin.
Let's see.
This is Baron Corbin's first match after losing the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Correct.
And the fans were letting him have it.
Where's your briefcase?
Where's your briefcase?
Where's your briefcase? And going into the match, if John Cena lost this match, he would have lost a match every SummerSlam since beating the Nexus, and this would have totaled the number of people in the Nexus for losses. So it's like 7 in a row.
More than that, I think.
Was it?
Eight,
well,
eight,
however,
I think.
Okay, so he hasn't won in the previous 7 SummerSlams. Not since he had actually won that Nexus match.
The terrible elimination match, which, if you've listened to the Jericho and Edge podcast, is apparently it was Cena pulling rank and kind of determining the finish of the match.
Yeah, which he apparently was immediately apologetic for. Went, you know what? You guys were totally right. So, but, that's a cool act of penance, which I'm assuming that he's the one influencing that as well.
Oh, I would suggest so. John Cena does not lose unless John Cena wants to. I think that's largely the case.
I think this one was out of his hands, though, because, spoiler alert, John Cena won. I think
the deal is
he wasn't given a choice on this because apparently Baron Corbin's being very de-pushed very quickly.
I think it's also the fact that he just did the job to Nakamura. So,
yeah.
You're John Cena, you can't do two jobs in a row.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But, you can't do 2 jobs in a row and then immediately go into Raw and have anybody take you seriously. So you can't do that. But I don't think he had a choice at all in the matter. I think he'd be perfectly happy putting over the new guy with a new kind of even more aggressive kind of angle to his gimmick. Now that he's pissed off that he lost the briefcase, which he was. Like it was a good match. Hands down good match. It was just that I'm not really sure. Like how de-pushed are you de-pushing Corbin?
The other question would be why?
Apparently, he just hasn't lived up to whatever expectations people have. He just apparently he hasn't improved some key stuff. Like he has not improved on the mic really, and he hasn't. He obviously hasn't been developing his body at all. So
the problem is that they've done this with, like, for example, Drew McIntyre before, where, like, chosen one kind of deal. Go in there, get the big push, and then we're gonna stop pushing you, and it never works out well. Like those superstars really never tend to recover. So, like, for other examples, like Ryback, another example of that, Drew McIntyre, like I said, had to go to the Indies to recover, basically. Yeah. And so I don't. Oh man. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea.
No. Well, there's still like I said, a couple podcasts ago, there's rumors that they're going to do another superstar shakeup here in like 2 or 3 weeks, and they're talking about actually sending people up or down to NXT. So he may be, Enzo and he may be those two guys that get sent back.
I don't know if you can recover from that, though. Like to be clear, I think Enzo can go back to NXT and recover to a degree. But yeah. Baron Corbin, after how hard he was pushed, Mr. Money in the Bank, title shot via the briefcase, big monster push. Oh man, like that's kind of like it's kind of like if Aaron Judge got sent back to the minor leagues. Like, ooh.
Yeah, the truly great ones will recover. They will redevelop. They will figure out new angles. They'll come up with a whole new plan of attack. But at this point, he just needs more coaching. Just give him a little bit of help. Give him some help on the mic. Give him some help with his workout. Something. He doesn't need to be, removed. But it may happen anyway because Vince is fucking retarded. So.
Now, I am gonna. That also probably explains why they got the shirt off of him in the match. Like, we got to body shame him a little bit.
That's possible.
But in fairness, I'm talking against this, but I think maybe it did work a little bit because his in-ring mic work, as repetitive as it was a lot of "Come on, John," but like the emotion he was putting into it, the force of the talking, actually was a lot better. So. Maybe it does light a fire under his ass and get him, and he rockets back. Because it's not too late at this point, because losing to John Cena is not much of a deep push.
No, not really.
You could definitely come back from that. But, I really like the beginning with John Cena being super, super cocky. He even stole JBL's hat at one point.
Which I enjoy every time it happens.
Indeed. He thinks Baron is shook, thinks he's in his head after, losing the briefcase. Okay, here comes Hyperbole Rant. Are you ready for this?
We'll tell you what, you rant, I'm going to go grab another beer.
Okay, so basically, at one point they start trying to talk up Baron Corbin as one of the world's best strikers. One of the world's best strikers, 3-time Golden Gloves champion. Here's the problem. If you don't know combat sports, how is this supposed to be all that impressive? And if you do, this is complete BS. Because it is. Stephan Bonner was Golden Gloves. A number of MMA fighters have been Golden Gloves, and they're not amongst the world's best strikers. And even in WWE, which is not real and striking, is faked or whatever, Baron Corbin's striking does not look better than a lot of people. Shinsuke Nakamura specifically, on the Takeover show, Hideo Itami, Aleister Black, hell, even Drew McIntyre.
Roddy Strong.
Roddy Strong. These are all guys who objectively are better strikers than Baron Corbin. And you're trying to use 3 times Golden Gloves as a justification for he is one of the best strikers in the world. JBL, please swallow some pills. Don't die, just kind of overdose. Have a moment to realize that you're full of shit, and move on.
Are we okay with him just swallowing some pills and having an aneurysm and then just not being able to be on the mic anymore?
I'm fine with that.
That works.
That is my rant. Now, mind you, I two big spots in this match I really did enjoy. The chokeslam backbreaker from Baron Corbin. Very good. Please use that more. And also a hell of a comic oversell from John Cena when he missed the 5-knuckle shuffle. Punches the mat and he's like selling it like he's broken his hand. I'm like, that is hilarious.
Yeah, and I mentioned it earlier. Like, I don't remember him missing that before. I'm sure it's happened a bunch of times, but I obviously wasn't watching when it did occur. So I thought it was new and different. And there were some more spots like that throughout this entire card that I'm probably going to forget. But there were some things like, oh, I never saw that before. Oh, there's a counter to that. Oh, there's a little bit of a weird twist on that. Cool. So there was enough of that to kind of keep me interested all night.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw, just to call it a conspiracy theory out here for a moment. This was a slightly over 10-minute match. I think it was like 10 minutes, 15 seconds or something.
It was 10 minutes and 15 seconds, yes.
Okay. John Cena let Baron Corbin have a lot of offense. So, we were talking earlier, John Cena is kind of on this penance run at SummerSlam to make up for the Nexus thing. Which definitely did rob the company of money. I'm just going to say that because I think while some of the members of the Nexus really were not worth money, there were people, and the angle itself was worth a lot of money, and it died a death, and not really any of the Nexus guys are over at this point or with the company. I think the only one with the company is Darren Young.
Oh Lord!
Well, and Otunga as a commentator.
He ain't no good neither.
So yeah. I wonder if maybe that's it. Like, maybe this match supposed to be perhaps even more was this supposed to be like a one-sided almost squash of Baron Corbin, and John Cena like let him have it. Like, just kid, I'm gonna beat you, but you're gonna get some offense in. You get your chance to prove they are wrong.
According to John Cena on podcasts and stuff like that, that's exactly what he does. When he's put in a program with somebody, he will say, "Listen, whatever you want to do, let's do what you want to do. You can do. I'm open to whatever anything."
Well, no, I'm like more suggesting that like even on this one, it was like almost against orders to a deal.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. It's like to the point where, okay, I'll give you as much offense as we can possibly get away with, so you don't get in trouble. I'm not going to get in trouble, but you might.
Yeah, you break out that new choke slam backbreaker. I'm gonna let you hit me with the deep six and let you like work me over with punches for like a real long time. Mm-hmm. Which I could have done without that spot just because of JBL's hyperbole. That's not in their control. They don't control JBL.
Yeah, jeez, I wish they had a shot collar on him.
That would be hilarious. Cena does eventually get the AA for the 3 count and the win.
Hey.
Then we had Naomi. Well, then we had a quick Rocket League tournament, 4-team tournament.
Rocket League.
Congratulations to Nasha, Neville, and Sasha Banks, who are Rocket League champions.
Very much so.
They require a belt.
We will accept that challenge anytime you want.
A little disappointed that Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch didn't win. That would definitely be my fandom.
Indeed.
And I did like at the end of the Nasha versus Cesaro and Bayley match when Neville's like in front of the TV blocking the view and Cesaro rolls him up. So that was good. A good little lighthearted spot. I like that. And then we go into Naomi versus Natty. I feel you're going to be more entertaining because I think you're a lot more negative on this match than I am. So please take it away. I've had
some time to reflect a little bit, and I think my problem is that Naomi it just isn't good enough. And what I mean by that is, you and I had watched the Ember Moon Asuka match. That was fantastic.
And you've historically been kind of anti-Ember Moon.
Pretty much. She's kind of sloppy, kind of dangerous. While we were watching that match, I made a joke about how they should have Ember Moon versus Sasha in a death match because one of them would legit die. One of them would just not come out of that match living at all. And it's probably not far from the truth. But that match was fantastic. You can have little quibbles about whatever. Perhaps there was some poor technique on some things, but it was a fantastic match. So this is the next women's match I'm watching this weekend. And Naomi is not good enough. End of fucking list. She can't wrestle good enough. She's nowhere on a promo. On a scale of 1 to Mick Foley, you are 0. And they put her on commentary, and they're asking her questions, and she's just doing... Is she from Minnesota or something? Because she's like, oh yeah, I am the champion. I am a good person. Yes, I am having the flashcards I am reading from. And she just can't... I don't understand it. And she keeps trying to start chants for herself, which everybody sees through. And she, in the middle of this match, at some point, she's like, it's glow time! And then pulled one move and then got smashed. It's like she's in this weird... And I think I referenced this while we were watching, or I said something like this while we were watching the match. It's like, it's as if somebody read a book about how to get yourself over. And they read that book like 7 or 8 years ago. And they're the one trying to recite the book back to Naomi. And she has to now go off of this information that somebody quasi-remembers from almost a decade ago from this one book they read this one time. And it's not working. And she doesn't have the tools to get herself over. That aside, she's also not good enough to be in the ring with Natalya. It was very obvious during this match that every time Natalya was on offense and doing a thing, things happened. Things were on point. Things went a certain way. Things were set up for other things. You could see a match unfolding before your eyes. And then Naomi would switch to offense, and then it was this weird kind of everybody stuck in glue. We're moving through, the air is now jello.
Her execution of literal spots is actually okay. Like, she's reasonably athletic. She can do moves.
They made a big deal about that slingshot. Was it a slingshot leg drop or something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've seen almost everybody in the business except the Big Show pull that off. And she does it the same way everybody else does. Moving on.
But, what I'm getting at, though, is while she is quite capable of doing the individual spots, there's no connective tissue.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't set up for the next move. It doesn't set up for Naomi's or Natty's reversal all that well. It doesn't set up for Naomi's continued offense all that well. There's no ring craft to it.
Not at all.
She's fine at, okay, Naomi, I need you to do a frog splash. Alright, that's perfectly fine. Now I need you to do a frog splash, then we're gonna set that up into a German suplex, we're gonna set that up into a little bit of a pin combination, and maybe and then you're gonna get reversed into a sharpshooter. Now it goes to pot.
Yeah. She's just not good enough. I don't know who decided to put the belt on her. The belt's not going to make her any better. It's not going to.
Well, we've been through this. I mean, of course, is that as much as WWE's view to women's wrestling has become more progressive and more serious, this is still Vince McMahon's company. This is still Vince McMahon's. Ooh, we're going to put the belt on a hot chick. Roll it. We've had this.
Not hotter chicks.
We've had this talk about NXT with the iconic duo and stuff, where it's like, it's not even the performer necessarily. In a lot of cases, the performer is also not good, but we still have the hot chick who I don't understand the motive for wrestling. You could even argue with Alexa Bliss, for example. Remember when she was doing the Bayley "This Is Your Life" and she was making fun of Bayley for being a wrestling fan and stuff. So why are you a wrestler?
Yeah.
And the Alexa Bliss is better in the sense that I think Alexa Bliss actually is a wrestling fan. I think she wants to be a wrestler, whereas Naomi, I've always had kind of questions about it. Because she is a girl who came through the NXT women's thing. I don't think she has any independent background. I think she is completely a WWE creation.
You are correct. Started in Florida, championship, went to NXT for 2 years, main roster between 2012 and 2015, team bad for a year, and now on SmackDown.
So I rather question her reason, not her passion, because I think you're not here this long if you have no passion for it. You Eva Marie it if you have no passion. But I question her motives, and I question if she's... Again, this goes back to my complete lack of any real faith in the Performance Center, that I don't think they can teach a wrestler from scratch how to wrestle. And
No.
yeah, back when she went through it, I think it was even worse. So I think that's the problem. Like, she has all the physical athletic tools to be a good wrestler. Like, she jump, run, do this, do that. Like, it's perfectly fine, and she seems to be, like, coordinated, athletic enough to actually pick up moves and stuff. But like I said, it's like she doesn't really know how to put a match together.
She doesn't have a clue.
And to me, it is an indictment of her, because there are people that should be, like, if she wanted to, there should be people who can teach her. Like, you have Charlotte on the brand, you have Becky Lynch on the brand, you have Natty Neidhart on the brand. These are three women who definitely know how to put together a match. And she hasn't picked up from them. And I mean, like, they're also women that she's been working with outside of... she has no matches with Becky, I don't think. But, well, maybe. Actually, during the Team Bad thing, she probably actually did face off with Becky at some point. Because that was at the same time they were doing Team PCB with Charlotte, Paige, and Becky. As well as the Bellas. So she's working with girls who definitely know how to put together a match. And it's like, man, Natty Neidhart couldn't steer you to a really good match. Like, this was not a bad match. There were no terrible botches. There was nothing done exceedingly poorly. It's just a lot of the flow of the match. Ironically, flow rhyming with glow. Not there. Not even close.
No, it was like, Natty tried her best. I'll give it to her. I'll give it to Natty. She really tried, man. She really did, and it was just watching. It was like watching a pro basketball player against, like, a pretty darn good high school player. Just not good enough. Just, that's the end of the story on that one. Just not good enough.
Anyway, Natty gets the win with the sharpshooter. She becomes women's champion for the first time. She was Divas champion prior, but I've always thought of the Divas championship just because of its lineage, history, its name, how it was handled to be, like, really a joke.
To quote Braun Strowman, it's garbage.
So, this is the first time I think Natty's had, like, a legit title, in my opinion, in WWE. Just a note on a dangerous spot, I guess. I was saying that, like, not blockbuster the outside from Naomi. Done well, but it is a move that makes no sense whatsoever. You are jumping from, depending on how you want to do it, the apron or the top rope onto someone on the floor and taking all your momentum and smashing yourself into the concrete floor. Mm-hmm. In what world does that make logical sense? Like, a dive to the outside is in itself somewhat logically questionable. A blockbuster, your opponent's body is not even cushioning your fall. Like,
the only person I've ever seen do it right was I don't know if he was the innovator of the move, but Bagwell was literally the only guy who pulled off a blockbuster that looked good.
Homicide's blockbuster is pretty good.
Fair enough. But at no point in any match, in any position, at any time, does a blockbuster do anything other than do more damage to the person who delivers it than takes it. That's the end of that story. That's how physics works. Unless I think the way Bagwell did it is he landed more on his upper shoulders to sell the neck breaker angle of it, whereas everybody else just slams their ass into the mat, and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Homicide does a really good job of cushioning it with his legs, which allows me to believe that he's not tremendously injured. But that's a spot that. That's not an anti-Naomi spot for the record. That's just, do not do that spot ever again.
Yeah.
Across the roster, I don't. It doesn't make any sense. You ruined my suspension of disbelief, my immersion in the match by doing a inside the ring to outside the ring blockbuster.
Correct. And then we had Big Cass versus Big Show with Enzo in a shark cage.
This is fucking terrible.
The match was garbage, and the booking was garbage. The one highlight was actually Enzo jaw-jacking the entire time. Eventually, he stripped off most of his outer clothing. And
I mean, it did make me want to see, like, Enzo versus Gato in a manager feud.
Yes.
Like, just to hear the jaw-jacking that would go on across during the match between the two of them. It's a rainmaker right here, pal.
Hey, yo, buddy. But the only highlight of the match was watching Enzo strip off his outer clothing, slather himself up with oil, put on some gloves so that he can grip stuff, even though his hands are supposed, kayfabe greasy. And then he wormed his way between the bars. Of course, the booking was shit, so he got super kicked in the face.
It wasn't even super kick. It was just big boot.
It's super enough. He got adequate kicked in the face, and then Big Show got adequate kicked in the face, and then he pinned. Might as well have just pinned both of them. It didn't matter. Whoever booked this match is an idiot. Moving on, we went on.
Oh, no. I'm not done with this match. I'm not letting it off that easy.
Nope, it's garbage.
I'm not letting it off that easy.
God damn it, we'll be here all night.
I need to burn this match first. I will give this match one compliment. Big Show's offhand chokeslam was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Because he's selling the injured hand, which... Okay, History 101 here for a moment. Big Show, way back in the day, broke his hand. I can't remember. I believe it was not legit. It was just storyline broken hand. And put a cast on and actually just used it to knock people out. So... doing Big Show hand injury spots makes no sense. Because he should just put the cast on and do the same thing.
Yarp.
Other problems with this match. I'm really believing that Big Cass just is not that good. Like, I thought, alright, if we break them up, at least Big Cass has a bit of a future. I don't know if he does. He doesn't really know how to play to the crowd without Enzo or the Spectre of Enzo.
Mm-hmm.
He really doesn't. And I'm starting to realize why his singles run in NXT was really pretty lackluster. Which is weird, because he's got a great voice for promos. He just needs to kind of master how to actually manipulate the crowd. Also, booking problems here with agency. Big Show did a lot of stuff that he doesn't normally do just to injure his own hand. He did a second rope kind of splash and lands on his hand so that he can, go, oh god, oh my hand. I'm like, when do you ever do that? Like, I've seen you do that before, but that's not part of your signature offense, so why are you doing it with a bad hand? Otherwise, you have Enzo escape the cage just to get booted, and yeah, we had some boring chants from the crowd. Cannot disagree at all.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
The highlight of the match basically is an offhand chokeslam and the fact that Cass can do a good Empire elbow. Those are the pros. This is so bad. I understand that you're trying to punish Enzo for being kind of full of himself and everything. And I understand that you also probably have no idea what to do with him. But why are you making me watch this on pay-per-view? Why was this not on the kickoff show?
Butch.
You had a title match on the kickoff show, 2 of them, instead of this.
Exactly. And speaking of bad matches,
this is a non-entity. This is Randy Orton versus Rusev. Rusev jumps Orton at the start, beats him down a bit before the match even starts. Match starts, RKO, match over. Fuck this match. Fuck this match hard.
And fuck whoever booked it. Right in the ear.
Fire whoever booked this.
Roses are red, violets are blue. I will fuck you with a rake.
I don't... This is freaking terrible. You also even gave Orton a win over Jinder Mahal, who is, spoiler alert going forward, still your world champion.
Yeah.
You do not need to squash Rusev with Orton. Oh. Moving on, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks.
The match was fine. Didn't really have any issues with it. It went well, I think, as much as Alexa Bliss still kind of new, so she's not, again, don't know why you put the title on her other than to apparently bury Bayley's career.
Well, at the time when they started pushing her, the crowd was actually really into Alexa Bliss with the Harley Quinn gimmick.
True.
I don't know why they continue to push it when the crowd's not quite as into her. Also, they largely abandoned the gimmick.
My only real kind of takeaway from this match is that Sasha Banks obviously hurt herself again. So she'll have to relinquish the title on the next show, and you might as well not have had the match. I'm going to just basically have 2 kind of negative moments, and then I'll talk about the finish just a bit.
the shitty wardrobe for Sasha Banks at the beginning. I'm assuming it was some kind of like show of support for Charlotte. I'm assuming because it was it was like her peacock gimmick.
Yeah,
but it was so bad. Like it was like falling over the whole time. She had to hold it up. Like, oh god, did you not like do like a test walkout with that? Even like, oh Jesus,
apparently not.
Holy fuck.
I legitimately thought she was wearing a sombrero when she came out, and I was not convinced that she wasn't until she actually took the whole cape apparatus off.
Yeah. I mean, I was convinced before that, a bad spot of the match was a bit of a dumb rope break spot. You've got Sasha Banks locking in the bank statement on Alexa Bliss. Bliss's foot is like already under the rope, and she's got to crawl like across the corner to go grab the rope on the other side of the mat. And they're making a big of the ring, and they're making a big deal like, oh, this is the disadvantage of having small arms and whatever, no reach. I'm like, this is the disadvantage of having no ring sense and being an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Bad spot. WWE doesn't know how to use rope breaks. I've long come to that conclusion, but this was particularly bad.
They don't know how to do a lot of things.
And then basically Banks gets the tap out with the bank statement. So standard thing. Good intensity in the match. The action didn't quite deliver on a high level, but the intensity was there. The storytelling was there. Good match, just with some bad stuff. And then we had Bray Wyatt versus the Demon Balor.
Yeah, I thought this was a good match. I was into it the whole way. I was paying attention. I was enjoying it. At no point... usually Bray Wyatt matches start off interesting for the first 2 minutes, and then...
They quickly run out of ideas, usually.
And then your life goes by. And then the last 2 minutes are also very interesting and cool. And then it doesn't seem to matter if it's like a 5-minute match, there's going to be that gap in the middle that's not any good, or a 30-minute match. The more time you give them, it seems like the more time is wasted. But this was good. I'm going to probably put that on Finn Balor's shoulders as being well connected. There was a lot of good moves. I think the finish was kind of friggin' quick.
A little bit, yes.
I sort of expected Bray Wyatt to get up out of that, but sell the double stomp well, and I guess move on with your life. I enjoyed it, and it was good.
I enjoyed the psychology of this match, which was basically that Bray didn't know what to do with the Demon Balor. Like he was very prepared for Finn Balor. He was not prepared for the Demon.
I'm pretty sure. Didn't he say specifically he would not be bringing the Demon?
And then he got basically blood poured on him, and I guess that brought out the fact that the Demon was going to be there. They showed it in the hype video.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure about the connective tissue on that, or the sequence, because I have not watched Raw or SmackDown for a couple of weeks.
Well, SmackDown you watched 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, right.
We did a review of it.
Well, yeah, and then after that, they're like, Fashion Files will be back in 2 weeks. Well, I guess I don't need to watch fucking SmackDown then.
Yeah. Action, not fantastic. And Bray Wyatt matches are never fantastic for action.
No.
For a guy who's built like he is, he does well. He moves around and everything, but you're not going to have a 5-star classic.
No, I still enjoyed, for what it was, I enjoyed pretty much everything about it. I honestly,
the major drawback of this match for me was Booker fucking T, though. So bad.
Not listening to him at all. He's an idiot, and I've learned to tune out this kind of tone right here.
He would disagree with himself. Like, he kept talking about how Bray Wyatt knows exactly how to deal with the Demon Finn Balor. I mean, there's that confidence. This man believes he's a god, and it was like, and then like later on, he would contradict himself on it. I'm just like, oh my god, you're so bad. So bad.
He's an idiot.
Also, he ignored all the evidence that he clearly did not know what to do with the Demon Balor.
Indeed.
I kind of like it. It did save this whole feud for me, because when they were talking about not doing the Demon, I'm like, that's a complete waste. I've talked about this at length with almost every Bray Wyatt feud. The way Bray Wyatt is presented, a match with him and a feud with him should change you on a fundamental level, and in Balor's case, it should bring out the Demon. They did save it. They brought out the Demon. they actually did a great job, and I'm kind of intrigued if Bray can come back from that. Like, you've been out mind games. What do you do now?
I had some fantasy booking warfare talking with Joey. What I would have done, because I am creative, other than, unlike some people, and by some I mean all people employed apparently by the WWE, I would have had this been Bray Wyatt's plan the whole fucking time. I'm going to get the demon to come out. I'm going to get bring that whole shenanigans out, because as has been established previously, I have all kinds of crazy, kooky, mystical powers.
Perhaps even have it be a deal where Balor will defeat Finn.
Yeah, kind of.
Because Finn's kind of the quote the man, and Balor's the demon sort of.
Yeah. So what I would have had him do is use his kooky, crazy, mystical, spooky powers. Oh, spooky! Yeah. Take control of the demon, and now you control Finn Balor because you control the demon, and now you rebuild the Wyatt family if that is your goal, or you just kind of control him as a henchman.
I still have no freaking clue why they've disbanded the Wyatt family.
It's obvious you're not going to put him anywhere near a title in the near future, so at least give him something to fucking do and put him over as a badass.
Yeah. So much money being left on the table with Bray Wyatt, because, you break up the Wyatt family for no real reason. They've done it twice now, and each time Harper and Rowan have done nothing. Not because they're incapable of doing anything, they're not given anything. So you didn't have a plan for breaking up the stable.
In point of fact, they never do.
It's so... The handling of Bray Wyatt is terrible.
If you will have noticed, all of the tag teams they've broken up this year have gone nowhere.
Pretty much, yeah.
They just broke them up to break them up, because they don't... Apparently, people hate tag teams, so they break them up.
Yeah. But at least, when they broke up Gable and Jordan, for example, they had a plan. It was a bad one. And when they broke up...
They really did.
The plan was he's going to be Kurt Angle's son, and the crowd's going to love him.
I think perhaps the original plan was that Chad Gable was going to be his son.
That would have been better.
Probably.
I did like Daniel Bryan's tweet also when people were saying that he should have been Chad Gable's father. He's like, I would have been a very virulent 5-year-old. We'll talk about it. I think we've lost its actual place, but Daniel Bryan, Kurt Angle had a kind of promo deal backstage meeting, which was great because it devolved into a yes chant and a no chant.
It went full Ed Leslie. It was great. Yes, no, yes, no, yes.
And they made the point that you get to watch your son wrestle. That didn't go very well, but hey, you learn from your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel Bryan gets to come off as a nice guy. During Takeover, they had the iconic duo for some reason talking to him. So
I made the comment that if I was Danielson Bryanson, I would have choked them both to death, and then the judge would have just found me not guilty because I am Danielson Bryanson.
Justifiable homicide in the line of duty.
I am over as fuck, and therefore can get away with it.
Justifiable homicide in the line of getting over.
Correct.
Yeah, and then we head into the Bar versus the Shield, and I really like this. I really like this match.
It was a good match.
Good stiffness, good tandem offense. I also like the fact that the champs came out first and they had an explanation for it. I like that.
Oh, did they? Oh,
indeed. So the deal was that apparently the Bar wanted to come out first. They thought that they want to dominate the ring and make the Shield come to them.
Oh, all right.
So it was kind of like a psychological warfare thing. Not exactly the best justification in the world because I don't, it's kind of bullshit. But they tried. I'll give them points.
That is true. I will give them points for that. They know Kevin Kelly, but gosh darn it, sometimes they can see the light at the end of the paper bag.
I enjoyed the Cesaro went and chased down the beach ball and ripped it up. That was pretty good.
That was awesome.
That's a good heel heat right there, people.
No, dude, that's a huge face turn for that. People fucking hate that shit. And he got so many yes chants. He's going to get all of the free beer for the next month from the boys in the back. And Corey Graves went off on those people that bring the beach ball. That was fantastic. Highly enjoyable.
True, also because he ripped it up during an exciting match and not a boring match.
True story.
If they'd done the beach ball during Cass and Big Show, I would have been like, yeah, I'm not even going to complain about that.
Yeah, that was great. And They could have legit done a double turn right there in the ring at that exact moment. Somebody would have called an audible. I need a double turn. No problem. We got this. It'll be easy.
That's because you have 4 guys who know what the hell they're doing. I mean, I'm not overly sold on Sheamus' wrestling mind necessarily. He's good in the ring, but like Cesaro knows how to do a turn. Rollins knows how to do a turn. Ambrose knows how to do a turn. Yeah, they could totally impromptu that.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting. If somebody would have had a brain fart, like, I need a turn, double turn right now. No problem. We got the crowd in our fucking pocket.
I will say there was a little bit of there were 2 kind of problems. The first was selling. Specifically, at one point, Sheamus and Cesaro do a pretty nice tag team move where Sheamus gets off the apron and starts running around, and Cesaro's the legal man facing off with Rollins, and then he like says, "Bam!" forearm to Ambrose, and then he falls off the apron, and Sheamus comes over, bro kicks him. Really good spot, but Ambrose was down for an eternity off that. I'm like, it was just a bro kick. It shouldn't. He shouldn't still be unconscious.
That's a finisher, sir. You have to sell the finisher.
He sold it for like minutes, man, minutes.
You understand how wrestling works?
So that was and that there were a couple other moments like that. And there was also some when Rollins was reaching for like hot tags and stuff. Oh god, it was slow. It was so slow. Like you could have got that tag. What the hell? Like, ugh.
Yeah, they do that particularly badly, and it is infuriating.
Yeah. But we did get a hell of a. I love the superplex frog splash combo for a near fall. That was really good.
That was good. I enjoyed that. I mean, he's no RVD, but he does try.
And Rollins also hit. Rollins did get a hot tag to Ambrose, and it was a really good hot tag. Ambrose can do the hot tag. This is his thing.
I kind of was expecting the quasi-Shield to come out during the main event and fuck everybody over and get Roman the title, but that's forward thinking, and they don't do that in the WWE. Wobbly B, as I like to call it.
Rollins also had a really good hot tag where he just went wild with super kicks and knees. I thought I was watching a Young Bucks match for a moment.
Super kick!
I really enjoyed the match. There was what was the finish? The finish was Rollins running wild with super kicks and knees, and then Ambrose hit a dirty deeds on Sheamus for the 3 count.
Yeah.
And really good.
He hit the shitty Muay Thai Rainmaker bullshit move, and then into the dirty deeds. Is that not how that went?
Yeah, that is how that went.
Shitty maneuver, clap, clap, clappity clap.
Ambrose is like frustrating in the regard of like his finishers are just so bad. Like they are not good. I just have a hard time buying him on that basis for as a main eventer.
I'm not sure why he needs like 10 minutes to lace up a double underhook DDT. It takes him a long time to do it.
But they're having him be a little more crazy. The Shield is over as a reformed unit. Fantastic crowd reactions.
It's perfect time to break them up. They're a popular tag team.
Also gets you a face tag team champion when you have no real face teams to feud with heels. It's basically just the Hardys who the Bar have already beaten. So this opens up the door to getting into some feuds with Revival when they're back, and also of course, as much as I hate the Miz Taraj could feud with them again, and you also have the Club.
Indeed. Please just give the Club the titles, and they will hold it for the rest of eternity because they're pretty good. Type it on up.
Type it on up. But this is like I said, fantastic match, not without its problems, but really, really good.
Indeed. It's more, speaking on the Club, I would just like them to get their release. Just ask for you, like, listen, you guys don't know how to wrestle, you don't know what you're doing, just give us our release, we'll go back to Japan.
Oh, fancy booking. Fancy booking!
So,
the Club get released and go back to New Japan, and that leads to the Bullet Club Civil War.
That could
Carl Anderson leading the one faction.
Machine Gun. Interesting.
Basically, the founding members: Machine Gun, Gallows not a founding member, but you know what I mean. The old school, the old guard: Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Bad Luck Fale, versus the Elite. I would probably throw Marty Scurll in with the Elite. Chase Owens, probably.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. And then, not really sure where I would put Yujiro.
I would stick it with Tomotaga.
And also not really sure where I'd put Hangman Page.
He can be one of those swing members. Like, people are, be with us, be with us. Oh, I'm a quadruple agent. I'm with everybody.
Yeah, tons of options there. So yeah, I'd be down for the release because they have not used the club well at all. I think at some point, and they had a shoot interview where they talked about this, where Gallows was talking about how his own wife didn't know that he was Festus.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't know each other when he was Festus.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Gallows is like, "Oh God, no, don't!" Or no, it was Anderson. Anderson goes, "Oh God, don't tell the story about that. No, I don't need Vince McMahon to find out that he's Festus. I need the paycheck.
Yeah.
I need this push." I feel like there's some bizarre truth to. I think he did figure out that Gallows is Festus and decided, "Oh, well, I can't push you. I mean, fans will remember that you were Festus."
Probably.
So, yeah, not doing anything with the club. Might as well let him.
Exactly. It's not like you could, form the club and make money or anything, you fucking old moron.
Then we move on to the U.S. title match. AJ Styles defending against Kevin Owens with Shane McMahon as the guest referee.
Again, really good match.
Really good match. I thought two kind of bones to pick. Slight overuse of the Shane McMahon storyline. I wanted a lot of it, but I felt like there was too much. Like, there was multiple face-offs with both guys.
Yeah, but I like the fact that it was always Kevin Owens that was doing the dirty work. I enjoyed that.
I did enjoy that.
It was very consistent. It was never the same, and it was a continuing theme.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that part of it.
And the other part was, I want this to be the closure to the feud. And the problem is that if you look at this match realistically, Kevin Owens actually won this match. He did get a visual 3 count on AJ Styles when the ref was down, so he has a legitimate gripe that he was screwed. Which leads us to further feuding. I don't necessarily want that. I want the closure. I want him to kind of move on to feuding with Shane. And have this wrapped up with a nice little bow on it.
I've heard rumors that is going to be the case. That he's just going to move right after Shane and not bother involving AJ.
But I think you could get the closure by reversing the screws, as it were. Because later on you had Kevin Owens tap out to the calf crusher when Shane was down. And that was, screwing AJ. Do that first, do the visual pinfall second. The visual pinfall then serves as your reason to go after Shane, and this feud is wrapped up with a nice little bow. Perfect.
True, but I would like to see Kevin Owens and AJ Styles continue to wrestle because they put on goddamn good matches.
Some of their matches have actually not been very good. I feel like...
Shucks.
I feel like the thing is like the writers and agents are like, this feud's been going on for so long, we gotta freshen up. We gotta, instead of just letting them wrestle, we have to bring in things and stuff, and I'm like, and that's kind of ruined a number of matches between the two. So I want to go away from this feud, revisit it in 2-3 years, maybe over the world title.
The championship on the score.
Mm-hmm. Or the universal title, whatever. But yeah, that's kind of the problem is I don't trust them to handle this feud, and that's why I want it to end.
I would not disagree with that whatsoever. But I have heard that the plan is for Kevin Owens to feud with McMahon specifically. So that'll be interesting.
Which I'm down for. I just think that if you reverse those the screw jobs, you have a better basis for that feud. But anyways, on to the match. I really enjoyed the fact that Shane McMahon forcibly pulls them apart so we can get the damn match. Because so often we just end up with matches thrown out because people are brawling before the bell. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Fucking stupid. You ring the fucking bell and count them out and they both fucking lose. Fuck it.
I also love Shane McMahon's reactions to all the he's covering up when there's punches being thrown and making great facial. Not normally what I want from a ref, but when you have a special guest referee, the idea that the ref is invisible kind of goes out the window. Because what's the point of having the special referee then?
Exactly.
So fantastic work there. If you are a referee at home, don't copy this. But if you're a wrestler who's going to be a special guest referee, do copy this. Also, just okay, I was going to bring this up during the takeover, but I totally have a fantasy booking storyline for Drake Wirtz, aka Drake Younger, who's a NXT referee, former wrestler. He has like a bunch of barbed wire scars on his torso, so I desperately want now he can't really wrestle. I believe there's a medical reason he's basically become a referee, but I kind of want like a storyline where it's like referees aren't tough sort of thing, and then Drake Younger just like starts mid-match just to take the shirt off and like be like, look at this, tell me about my toughness, please.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love that. Anyways, that's my fantasy book. Probably the best Sunset Bomb of the weekend from AJ Styles, continuing the weekend of the Sunset Bomb, which was fantastic. Like I said, Shane eats a 450 splash from AJ, but it's Owens who pulled him in the way, basically, to prevent the pin. Which is where the visual pin of AJ comes in with a pop-up powerbomb. I like that Owens gets in his face, starts talking about, you jump off building! You can't be in position to make a cover? Or make a count? A lot of, like I said, a lot of them getting into Shane's face, which I thought was overkill, personally, but I'm fine with it.
Well, they kind of made that the match, though.
Mm-hmm. I just think you could, a little bit less is more. But that's my personal preference. If people disagree, that's perfectly fine.
Well, they only gave him 17 minutes, so they got to do something.
I also like the Frankensteiner reversal into kind of a formless suplex by Owens. Not entirely certain what that was supposed to be.
I do not know.
And a really good false finish, actually, with a Styles Clash, where AJ is like really slow with the rollover to get the pin. So it protects the move a little bit. And we've talked about before that I think the Styles Clash should be a protected move just because it's really difficult to pull off, and if it's not effective, why are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of the Avalanche style Styles Clashes.
Ooh, those are good.
Yeah, those are definite finishers, and to kick out of one of those is pretty much the dumbest thing you can do. So I anticipate Vince McMahon booking that till the end of time.
So we had a pair of roll-up deals where one wrestler would get into Shane McMahon's face. Shane pushes them over into a roll-up. Both sides. I was kind of worried that would be the finish.
Yeah, I wasn't really concerned that was going to be a thing, but I was happy to see that it went both ways.
Mm-hmm. And eventually we did get the finish with a phenomenal forearm into a pretty shite Styles Clash, where he really didn't get Owens up that high. So kind of our one kind of lackluster spot of the match.
Pretty much, but I was happy to see the young Alabama kid to retain the title and hopefully continue to get a push.
Also, he was the first champion on the night at SummerSlam to actually retain their title.
Correct.
Because this night was all about title changes. I would like to say that means the company is moving forward with like new ideas, but I know that's not the case.
No, they don't have those.
So, good stuff there. Then we go to Jinder Mahal, Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to give a big thumbs up to the people who worked on the video package for this. Epic.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah. They treat it like a fight. Oh, it was so good.
It was very good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
And then Shinsuke's entrance really good. Jinder Mahal's entrance is always actually pretty good. It's pretty nice. I also like the foreign announce teams getting involved. And the crowd was white hot. I was really into this match until the ending.
Yeah, everybody's all up in arms. Everybody's really enjoying the match. It was a really great match. Oh, and then you fucked it all up. Great. That's why everybody hates WrestleMania. Because you keep giving us shit endings, and that's the only thing we remember, is the shit aftertaste of your shit match, you shit bird.
And, I mean, this was not a technical masterpiece. You're not really capable of doing that with Jinder Mahal, but
no.
I came in with low expectations, and the match had exceeded them up until the point of the end. When the Saints get involved, Nakamura takes them out, but then eats a really shitty Colossus and gets pinned.
Yeah, the colostomy bag on this one was extra squishy.
So Jinder Mahal, despite losing to Randy Orton on SmackDown, did he technically get the loss to Cena, or did Cena get DQ'd?
I think Cena got DQ'd because he hit what's-his-nut with the briefcase.
Okay, so he did get a win over Cena.
I think,
but he is still your champion.
Nobody cares!
The crowd was so into a Nakamura title, so very into a Nakamura title win that I hope to God that this is not because of the Cena suplex thing.
I hope so too.
I hope to God the plan wasn't Nakamura wins, and then Vince is like, he's a dangerous worker. I can't put the belt on him.
Yeah, whatever. But once it was very apparent that Jatinder Mahal's got the win, the crowd went completely...
They died a death.
You had all of the heat. You had, 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty darn good, if not really, really good matches in a row, and then just...
Yep.
Let's just... What we gotta do is we gotta fuck it all up. We gotta put a giant turd in the pie.
Yep. JBL fuck up once again. During the match, he was trying to big up Nakamura's MMA career for having faced a Gracie in his debut. For those of you who do not know, he fought Daniel Gracie and lost in his debut. He was implying that Nakamura won, I thought. Which
I didn't hear. You're probably right. You're probably right that he was trying to say that.
He may not have, but here's the thing. Even if he was being truthful and talking about how Nakamura had lost, and it was just kind of impressive that he debuted against Gracie, a lot of people debut against Gracies, and those of us who are into MMA are very, very aware of that.
Yes, that's how they build their records.
Exactly. So, if you know who the Gracies are, you know that that's not an accomplishment, and if you don't know who the Gracies are, you don't give a fuck. Correct. Why was that there?
Also correct.
Also, I'm not a fan of, again, we know that wrestling is fake. We know that this is not a real fight. Believe me, I understand this. We're picking apart how, some of these things instantly ruin that it's a real fight. Blockbuster, for example. I don't really think you should be pointing out MMA careers all that much. Outside of Lesnar, whose career is you kind of gotta acknowledge it.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't really be bringing up Nakamura's career as an MMA fighter because again, it's all right. So again, ruining the immersion. So this is not real.
Yep. Oh, by the way, just to point out, very, very apparently, that he used to have real fights.
Yeah. So,
not to hit over the head with it too often, but we're gonna keep doing that. Yeah,
and it's not like it builds. Like I said, it's not like it builds it because number one, if you're a fan of MMA, you know that honestly, we assumed that the Nakamura Daniel Gracie fight was actually rigged. It was on one of the Inoki Boombaye shows.
Those I thought were fairly legit.
Sometimes legit, but not when when it's MMA fighter on MMA fighter, sure. But when they bring pro wrestlers in, it's kind of rigged. And again, also a debuting fight against Daniel Gracie, that should be an easy win for Daniel Gracie. You know what I'm saying? It's a fight that shouldn't really be made. So, like I said, if you know who Daniel Gracie is, and you know who the Gracies are, and you're into MMA, you know that that's not any kind of feather in Nakamura's cap. And if you don't know, it doesn't add anything except to remind you this isn't real fighting.
Correct.
So, don't do that again. Then we move on to the main event, Fatal 4-Way, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns. Corey Graves going full heel announcer with the changing his winner pick constantly in this match.
I really didn't listen hardly at all to the commentary. Joey and I were rather enjoying things, and this match was really fucking good.
Oh, this was a fantastic match. I love I'm bitching about that, and that is honestly my biggest gripe about this match is the fact that Corey Graves went full heel.
Yeah, and god damn it, I hate it when announcers think they're supposed to have personalities.
It's basically what Jerry Lawler used to do at the Royal Rumble. That's my pick! It's my pick. I thought your pick was him. No, that's my pick.
Yeah, I can understand it if it's like a rib or a joke with the guys in the back or whatever. I guess that's cool, but literally nobody else on the planet are those people. Mm-hmm. So don't do it.
Okay, one other gripe. This is not about the match. This is about the lead up to the match. So basically, you have a fatal 4-way with 3 heels and 1 face.
Yeah.
Officially. During the walkouts, the least positive reaction anyone got was the fucking face.
Who's the face again?
Roman Reigns.
Really?
He's still a face, basically. Like, he's still technically the face.
I didn't know he was ever.
Despite the attempted murder and everything. No, still the face.
I was unaware that at any point in his career he was ever a face.
The crowd has never taken to him as... Well, there was like a couple of months there, but, yeah, no. All the heels got bigger cheers than the face. So, state of your booking, mate. But, anyways, take us through the match, sir.
There was a lot of stuff and some things happened. It was cool, and Samoa Joe won. That's probably not all of that was probably not accurate.
Not accurate at all.
God damn it. There was highlights of the match. Pretty much Brownie the Strongman went ham bone. He annihilated everybody, smashed everybody with stairs, manhandled Brock Lesnar like a child. There was one point where he was going to power slam him through an announce table.
Twice.
But it was the first time, and Brock Lesnar was kind of legit struggling to get off his shoulders and didn't budge. Mm-hmm. It was pretty fucking cool. And so Brownie the Strongman power slammed him through 2 announce tables and flipped another one upside down, ambulance style, and I'm using air quotes, crushed him underneath. The thing weighs like 3 pounds, so it's not that big a deal, but it looked visually cool. And then they carried Cock Chestnur out on a stretcher with the backboard and the whole shenanigans, although they didn't belt him up at all, which is not how you do things. Also, no cervical collar, bad form. Mm-hmm. And then shenanigans and beating things up, and then your boy Brock Lesnar comes back out because he's such a beast. Even a spinal injury can't stop him. He's an animal. And then shenanigans and more shenanigans and more shenanigans. And then eventually your boy Brock Lesnar, who did he hit for the... Was it Roman Reigns he hit for the F5?
It was Reigns, yeah.
Yeah, so...
He countered the roar and the spear for an F5.
Yeah, exactly. Which brings me to my point that I mentioned earlier about repeating things in matches. How many fucking jerk-off moves and retard bellows did this idiot hit? It must have been at least a dozen bellows.
Like, the sad thing is Roman Reigns has a decently deep move set. Like, he doesn't have to be this repetitive. He's not Kevin Nash.
Yeah, so why did he hit... legitimately, I think it was at least minimum 8. I'm going to go in the corner and go, ooh, and then I'm going to do the thing. Ooh, over.
It's kind of like the Naomi thing we were talking about before.
And then he went for how many stupid arm jerk-off moves? Probably about 17. Arm jerk-off, suicide punch, or whatever the fuck, Superman punch. They should call it the suicide punch, because it's killing his career. And he just suicide
I say this
punch.
is a man who actually likes the Superman punch out of nowhere. I just hate the freaking jerk-off one.
Well, he did one out of nowhere, and he did about a minimum 17 jerk-off moves.
He did do an interesting one, credit where it is due. He got pressed up by Braun Strowman and kind of does a Superman punch to counter the press. That was cool. The execution was not very good.
No,
but I'm like, that's a good thought. Let's do that.
That was the only one where he didn't jerk himself off for an excessive amount of time, fill a bucket with hand jizz, and then slather it all over his fucking tongue, and then go and punch somebody.
Yeah.
Just, god damn it, man. Just fucking wrestle. What the fuck?
I'll start with the not good or bad, like just kind of the interesting. Move on to the bad, and then on to the good. Interestingly enough, Roman Reigns is the lightest man in this match. That's just kind of a weird tidbit. Like, a man the size of Roman Reigns is the smallest guy in a 4-way. On the bad side, commentary. The commentary conveniently likes to ignore facts when they don't fit the story, but you remember them. Specifically, when they're trying to hype up what Roman Reigns has in his favor, is he has experience with Brock Lesnar. None of these men have experience with Brock Lesnar.
What?
Didn't Joe just face him at Great Balls of Fire? And during the match, you're going to acknowledge that Joe faced Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire. So why are you shooting yourself in the foot? 2. They really kind of made a big deal about, like, trying to play this off as Lesnar and Braun Strowman's first encounter, really. Not the case. The Royal Rumble, I believe, 2 years ago, Braun Strowman was in it as a member of the Wyatt family, and Brock Lesnar, like, had, like, a 2-minute period where he, like, absolutely tortured the shit out of Strowman. Like, he was like, suplex. And Strowman's looking like it was the entire Wyatt family. It wasn't just Strowman. Like Harper, it got the same treatment, but because there was a storyline there. But like Strowman was getting suplexed, and they're trying to make this big deal about like, no, Lesnar can't suplex Strowman. We've seen him do it. We've seen him do it before. They're like Lesnar can't suplex Strowman. Like, there's no way he can do this. I'm like, fuck. We've seen him suplex the Big Show. Why can't he?
I have no explanation, and I will have them shot immediately.
Now, on to the positives. 1, Paul Heyman begging Braun to stop after the third table. Amazingly good touch. Loved it. I love the incorporation of just random shit. At one point, Strowman's just throwing chairs at people. Like, the wheelie chairs, the office chairs.
Dude, he hit, who was it? He hit Joe right in the face. Perfect throw. High impact, high speed. He got the cushiony part right in his face. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Excellent. 10 out of 10, would recommend. Yeah,
he went wild with the ring steps for a bit, which allowed Roman Reigns to didn't use the ring steps against him. That kind of like, keeps Braun strong. You need the ring steps to get him out of the ring. As a weapon, not as a transportation device.
I don't know. I think you could probably use that.
This was a much better job of stretching someone out than when they did with Roman Reigns in the Rumble. I'll say that's positive.
Yeah, but I'm laying that on Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Brock returning, Brock getting some dominance, and Braun Strowman looking like an absolute beast in this match. Holy shit.
Yep.
Braun got a visual pinfall on Joe, and Brock pulls the referee out, so it sets up Braun as basically your next contender. Continuing on. And I want to see Lesnar versus Strowman. That's going to be fantastic. So mission accomplished there. Like, just a really well put together match, except for Roman Reigns' somewhat repetitive moveset and the commentary. But these 4 guys all get thumbs up.
I also enjoyed Joe's strategy of being the guy who took advantage of stuff without being a total punk bitch about it. He did a really good job of being, and they overuse this so much, being an opportunist without being a cowardly shithead piece of garbage. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Just, again...
I'm so tired of cowardly heels. It's so bad.
Not honestly sure what I feel about Lesnar retaining the belt. And especially after being carted out. But
it's not any good at all. It does nothing for nobody. It really holds everybody back, really.
But I understand that you got to play the politics of trying to keep him away from the UFC, I guess.
It's not going to happen.
I know. If he wants to go, he'll go. Like, I don't know why the WWE continuously tries to reason with Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like, Lesnar, part of his appeal is that he seeks out challenges and tries to do it. Like, he does what he wants to do.
Sure.
And you're not going to stop him. And money is not going to stop him.
Well, there's more money to have one big-ass fight.
Well, that too. See, it's not like he's like, yeah, no, I want to go work like a stock job at a Sobeys or something,
Well, I mean, he's going to have one fight. He's probably going to make somewhere between $6 and $10 million for one fight. And then he can either retire, which he could do already if he wants.
He's also not like a high life kind of guy. Like his lifestyle is actually kind of low maintenance. Like,
Yeah.
he likes to hunt and live in the woods.
Yep.
So,
I mean, he's going to go have one big-ass fight. He may take a year off to just have general maintenance healing.
Also cleared out the steroids.
Well, I mean, he's got to do 5 months of suspension still. So, who knows? But he's going to have one fight. He's going to make probably $6 to $10 million. He will then take, after that fight, however long it takes to get it, he will then go from there. If he wants to have one more big ass fight, then I guess that's what'll happen. If there's money in it, or if he wants to go back to wrestling.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, if he wants to go back to wrestling, he doesn't need WWE. He could totally do New Japan.
He could. I'd love to see it.
Mm-hmm. Been their champ before.
You betcha.
So yeah, I get the thought of giving him the win and letting him keep the title, but yeah, I would have put the title on probably Strowman in this match.
Yeah, Strowman or Joe.
Or you could do something else, because you gave Strowman the visual pin on Joe, so that sets up kind of like a rematch type of thing. And you could have Joe win the match, and then it's Strowman versus Joe.
Yeah, I would love them to do a Joe title run, but I want them to do it as like old Joe. I want like Joe
Samoan submission machine.
No, fuck no. I want like ROH Joe, where he was beating the fuck out of people.
Well, that was technically the Samoan submission machine gimmick.
Whatever. Anyway, I just want him to beat the fuck out of people and win. That's all I want. And you can do that because people will buy it, because it's Samoa fucking Joe.
Yeah. People are buying it. Like, even with the half-ass booking they've had for him, dude still gets pops.
Mm-hmm.
When he's beating the crap out of what he was like during his brief moments of beating up Strowman and stuff, people bought it.
Indeed.
Yeah. But I mean, we don't like the finish, but I mean, crowd probably went home happy. I would think.
I mean, it worked for the match, but it long term does fuck all for your business, Bane.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's okay. So now we're not going to see.
Well, admittedly, you probably also want to give someone the rub in a singles match against Lesnar. So I guess I could see that as a valid way of doing it. Like this sets up Strowman versus Joe versus Lesnar, and Strowman then gets the win. Then he gets that big rub.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing's gonna change. We're probably not gonna see Brock Lesnar in the ring until Survivor Series. So who fucking cares who's the champion? Like, congratulations, you have no champion again for another 3-4 months.
Let's see. Next pay-per-view is No Mercy on Raw. It's unlikely to be in that. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're probably right.
We might not see him even then. We might not see him till Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, that is. Again, I'm not against part-time contracts, but yeah, the Lesnar part-time contract it's too long for him to be on top with a part-time contract. A lot of people could have been elevated with that belt in the meantime, and they've not done it.
Nope, and they won't, because Vince McMahon wants Roman Reigns to win WrestleMania, so we're going to keep the title on him for 17 years until we get it right. We'll do the same main event for 17 straight years.
Well, that's the thing, is if you want Roman Reigns to be your big guy, you still can do it. You just got to do something different.
Yeah, it's fucking garbage. They don't have a goddamn clue.
I mean, we've said this. I mean, we're a broken record at this point. Roman Reigns is money. Mm-hmm. The look is good. The moveset is actually pretty good. Reasonably athletic for a big man. Actually not bad on the mic at times. But you gotta stop treating him like John Cena. Because he's not. And you probably need to not have him do attempted murder if you want him to be a face.
Correct.
So, that finishes off SummerSlam. Like I said, back-to-back really good pay-per-views. Like Takeover 3, probably best WWE pay-per-view of the year. And SummerSlam was one of the better main, big show events of the year. A big rebound after a fucking god-awful pay-per-view last time out. Oh, God.
Well, it's been pretty shitty pay-per-views since Royal Rumble.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, WrestleMania was a giant shit sandwich.
Yeah. So, good rebound. Keep it up. Fix your damn commentary. And if you really want to push Naomi, lock her in a house with people who know what they're doing to put together a match, and somehow osmosis that into her head. Because it's pretty painful.
Yeah, it's as if they plucked her straight off a farm in Minnesota, and she's not. Oh, my mom and dad, they taught me to be nice to people, and also enunciate. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But that's only when she's doing long promos.
Her commentary is brutal.
Oh, God. No, never do that again. Never.
Jesus.
Here's a hint. When you have people who are struggling on the mic, do not put them on commentary. Don't.
No.
It's not going to help.
Not on televised broadcasts. Do it on house shows.
Yeah. Roman Reigns is honestly kind of the same thing. It's the same kind of thing. Someone read a book about how to be over as a wrestler and has been reciting it to him, but there's no real understanding of what goes into it.
Correct.
And they're both people who can be over, and at points they have been, but they are not good. Anyways, that's pay-per-views. I hope you enjoyed our really long-ass podcast of almost 2 hours.
Welcome to the weekend, bitches.
And that's about all I have to say on the matter.
Pretty much. I'm hungry. Let's end this.
All right. Get out Byron's lawn. See you next time. Next one will be Lucha Underground.
Right, we forgot about Lucha. And so we're going to do Lucha. We got 3 more days of the G1, which we're not probably going to do podcasts for unless there is some...
We could do a quick, wrap-up podcast of the G1, maybe.
We could do a giant G1 recap. I'm desperately trying to avoid all the spoilers that are spoilers, even though apparently Chris Fitch is a total asshole and decided to
spoiled it on me already. I know who wins.
What a cunt.
I specifically told him not to tell me who wins. He's like, fuck you, Chris.
What about in retaliation? We're totally gonna fuck up his football thing. That's probably never gonna get off the ground.
Still hasn't set a date for the draft.
Nice.
He's also not asking anyone when they're free, because if he tries to book it for this Saturday, I got a freaking wedding to go to.
He asked me. I said most evenings, I suppose.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't put it on Saturday, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, me too. That's D&D night, and also I'm not gonna say what my team name is because it would get me in trouble. I basically made my team name as offensive as possible just to fuck with his system.
Oh, have you changed it since I last looked?
No, it's still the same.
Okay.
Although I may change it to Chris Fitch's. Oh, I said his last name. Oh well.
We already said his last name. Cat's out of the bag.
Oh well. Chris Fitch, you a bitch. I'm going to change it maybe possibly to Chris Fitch's Hopes and Dreams, and then intentionally draft all of the shittiest players I can find. And then just lose. On purpose.
Indeed. Alright, that's all, everybody. Enjoy your evening.
Peace.